I've heard in the UFC where they talk about taking somebody into deep waters.
Yeah.
Well, and so the deep waters is basically taking somebody where they're not comfortable, right? And so if they're a skilled striker, you take them to the ground, wrestle them, right? And now you drown them. Well, life does the same thing. And so if your only training is inside the ring, inside the octagon, inside the gym, but you never develop the fighting skills for life, well, life is going to drag you into deep waters.
Hello there, this is James Cox with the Martial Arts Lifestyle, and we are here on episode number 44. Today I have a special guest with me. This is Ruben Escalano. How do you say that last name?
Escalona.
Yeah, I got to add my Spanish accent to
Or
that.
Escalona for
Escalona.
the bilinguals.
Right. Okay, I gotcha. He's a local business owner, entrepreneur. Man, I see you as a motivational speaker. I see you active and doing a lot of things. I know you've dabbled in some martial arts. Big UFC fan. Was a judge at our recent kids MMA pancration fight that we have, and so I know you inspire a lot of people. I've been inspired by you as well, and I wanted to have you out here just to kind of share some good things about martial arts related life and all of that stuff in general. So Mr. Ruben, maybe you introduce yourself and tell us a little more about your journey.
Yeah, well, first of all, I appreciate that. I haven't had an intro like that in a long time.
All right.
I guess we just need the theme song, and then we'll be good to go.
Yeah. Backup dancer.
Backup. Well, just the theme song to start off.
All right. Start slow.
Sure, I don't know what song I'd walk out to, but anyways, probably the theme song to Ballers. That would be
okay.
That one with the rock.
Yeah.
That's
All
a good song. Anyways, but so Ruben Escalona, Red Alpha Custom Prints. We're a locally owned, family owned company. We provide prints in all areas, from business cards to banners to vehicle wraps, signs, T-shirts, and pretty much everything in between.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of stuff from you through the years.
Yeah, that's who we are. My wife and I, we're both full-time working in our business, and we are primarily an online business, but we do have a good core group of customers that are repeat customers and good referral base, and that come to us year after year. Yeah.
Now, when we first connected, I could be wrong on this, maybe decades ago, man. I don't know, time goes so fast. But you had came to our martial arts school with a group. What was that? What were we doing there?
So that particular thing is whenever I was. My wife and I, we were really active in the men's and the women's ministry in our church. And so, I was looking for ways to make a connection between, the spiritual battles that we face and the actual physical application that, maybe martial arts can bring to it.
Right.
And so one of the things, when I was telling you over the phone, one of the things that stuck out from that particular session is you were teaching us how to fall, the proper way to fall, and that has stuck with me since then. And by the way, it has been at least 10 years because we started out with the Premier Fight Nights. That's where we first hooked up. And but anyways, learning how to fall, we're not taught how to do that. We just some of us fall and never get back up, and others, the ones who keep going, are the ones who learn how to fall and get back up. But that was a great lesson. But not only learning how to fall properly, but opening our eyes to the fact that you can still strike from the down position. And I like to tell people, if you can look up, you can probably get up. And so but getting up is a choice, right? And so that lesson that you gave us was something that I kind of use in everyday life without even knowing, is that no matter what happens, I can still strike from whatever. If I'm down, if I'm up, I can strike from any position. And
I love how you're saying that. I mean, that's awesome that was so long ago, and something that we talked about and worked on that you recall and you're able to use and put it into the real world too. Because I see you're talking about it in the physical sense of, we learn how to fall correctly from our judo break falls, and then a lot of people know how to fight standing, they don't know how to fight on the ground, but there is a point of in the middle where you're falling to the ground or you're coming up, and that whole technical stand of getting up or striking, protecting yourself. But you also use that in the life lesson of being down
Yeah.
and still being able to fight and get back up.
Yeah.
I don't know which Rocky episode it was when he was so emotional about it's not how hard you get hit, right? What was the saying? But it's how
Yeah, he was
how you
telling
get
his
back
son,
up.
yeah. Just that life is always going to hit you, but it's not, how hard you can get hit, but it's or how hard you hit, but how hard you can get hit.
That's it.
And then keep on moving forward.
That's it. Get
And
back up.
that's life. It's you talked about the transitions. There's always a period of time between one season of your life and the next season. And like I was mentioning to you, we're now empty nesters, so that took some transition. And so, but prior to the transition, we had to get there in our minds first. And I believe, personally, I believe before you go anywhere, you have to go there in your mind first. You have to imagine it and visualize it for yourself before you actually step into that season physically.
Yeah, that's right, man. You got, and I talk to my fighters and even the kid competitors that we're putting a lot of focus on now. I know competing so much through the years. That was it. And I noticed, man, I've seen it, and I may have done it myself, where you can win or lose the fight in the dressing room in your mind. So before you even come out, I mean, what the mind can conceive, the body can believe, whatever there, right? So visualizing and building that confidence and talking yourself into it, not out of it. I mean, so yeah, definitely you can win or lose mentally before anything even starts.
Yeah, you can literally speak it into existence. I know one of your taglines, at least on the emails that we get, that thoughts become things.
Yeah.
And that's a big one right there.
Yeah.
You don't realize how you influence people just in the little things that you do. Just a little signature in your email. Thoughts become things, and then it plants a seed in someone's mind, and then you're right. It's like, where are my thoughts? What am I thinking right now that's going to come to fruition here in the near future?
Yeah, you got to focus on that. Too many thoughts, man, and you got to be in some control of as much of them as we can. So what other life lessons have you seen or that you can relate that we teach through the martial arts and that culture that we can utilize in daily life or work or school, kids, adults, everyone alike?
Well, one of the things is the relationship between the physical and the, if you want to call it spiritual, but it's being able to manifest something that seemingly doesn't exist into the physical form, right? And there's a correlation, as you know that, I'm real big in my faith, and one of the things that I believe in is that, when you order it in your natural world, then you kind of line yourself up and put yourself in position to be able to receive things that if your life was chaotic, you probably wouldn't do it, or wouldn't be able to step into that, manifestation, I guess. And so the discipline that it takes to be able to, go through your training and be able to prepare for a fight, or just to learn a certain technique, that right there is an example of lining up or ordering your natural life. Because you have to be able to have that muscle memory. You have to have done it a bunch of times. Bruce Lee talks about, not fearing the man who's done 1,000 different punches or kicks, but fear the man who's done one punch 1,000 times, right? And so that right there is that conditioning in your body, or, I call it in the physical, is actually lining things up in the spiritual, right? And that's or the unnatural, because that's what it is. It's there are things that exist that we'll never be able to hold on to until we get our physical life in order.
Yeah, complete package, right?
Yeah.
We use the terminology of the mind, body, and spirit to train and labor and strive for purity of the mind, body, and spirit. And I've seen many people and probably never actually balanced enough. There's too much of this, too much of that, finding that balance that, might have everything in the body, man. Just these natural born athletes, incredible, amazing, but lacking in the mind, lacking in the spirit, and then, can definitely be destined to failure. Because of the incompleteness.
Yeah, I've seen that before, and it really boggles my mind because every fight is different. But I've even made a post on Facebook not too long ago, is that I've seen skilled people, skilled fighters and strong men and women, get their butts kicked by life, because it's an invisible enemy. You don't know, a lot of times you don't know where the attack is coming from, and so whenever the fight is taken out of your comfort zone, even in fighting, even as uncomfortable as that can be, the training can be uncomfortable, you still develop a comfort zone. And so, like you said, if he prefers striking over, another martial arts, once you take him out of that, I've heard in the UFC where they talk about taking somebody into deep waters.
Yeah.
Well, and so the deep waters is basically taking somebody where they're not comfortable, right? And so if they're a skilled striker, you take them to the ground, wrestle them, right? And now you drown them because they're not ready for that. Well, life does the same thing. And so if your only training is inside the ring, inside the octagon, inside the gym, but you never develop the fighting skills for life, well, life is going to drag you into deep waters.
Yeah.
And so you see people who are skilled fighters get their butts kicked by everyday life.
Yeah, all the time, man. Yeah, and that's the art of war, and completely. The art of war. And, how do you beat a boxer? Kick them. How do you beat a kicker? Take them down, right? They go straight, you go around. They go high, you go low. Understanding that, John Hackleman, he's a legendary MMA coach from Chuck Liddell, Glover Teixeira. I've had the honor and privilege of training under him back in the day, some time, and I learned a lot just from little things that he had said. And there was a point of talking about everybody's got a fight coming up. So you imagine an instructor teaching 30 people on the mat, and they're like, all right, guys, let's get ready for the fight. And they all look at you weird, like maybe there's only 2 of them that actually have a fight coming up. Maybe there's 10 of them that never want to compete. They're just there to train.
Wow.
But then it got a little deeper that, no, you all have a fight coming up. It might not be in the cage, it might not be in the ring, but you have a fight coming up. It's the future of not knowing. Maybe you have a big loss tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen. There's somebody in your life, a struggle, because there's all a struggle, there's all a work. So when we can train the mind, the body to stretch out and use that discipline everywhere else that we go, we're just stronger for that. So we're all preparing for a fight, right? We're all prepared for that season. We're all preparing for something that's going to come up, because it's not back to Rocky. It's not all rainbows, right?
Sunshine and rainbows.
There
That's
you go.
true.
Yeah,
That's true.
exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's every day I have a T-shirt design that it says waking up is a gift, but getting up is a choice.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that, because if we were given the gift to be able to wake up another day, some people right now are still in bed because of the fight that they're going through.
Yeah.
And other people decided to get up.
Made a choice.
And made a choice.
Yeah. We all have the same hours. Maybe not all the opportunity, but you gotta find it or make it, man, to make the best.
That's right.
Lemonade out of lemons, right?
That's right.
Well, let's talk a little bit MMA stuff. I know you were a judge at our recent fights that we had, which was kids, youth, we had teens as well, doing MMA, the pancration type rules, where it was, there's some limitations. No face contact was the big one, just for their protection. But those kids can fight. We had as young as 8-year-old up to 17. And as a judge, that was your first time officiating actual MMA.
Yes. Except if you don't count all the times where I'm the couch judge when I'm watching the
backseat judge,
the backseat judge,
Buffalo Wild Wings, telling everybody everything.
Oh, he should have did that. I can't believe it. Yeah.
He should have strangled him.
That's
what?
right.
That was impossible.
That's right.
Well, what did you learn from that experience? What did you think about it? I mean, the judging, the fights themselves. Any surprises?
Okay, so what I've learned was that I really love it.
Yeah.
I like being around it.
The best seat in the house.
Yes. I like seeing people compete, and I guess the surprise. There's a couple surprises. Is the things that lead up before they step into the ring, and then the intensity that these young kids had. they were in it to fight.
Little warriors.
The warriors. There you go. But the thing that when I looked around, I have a tendency to do that. Like I have a tendency to look around and kind of like take mental pictures of what's going on in the moment. Awareness, right? And so I look around from the music, from the the kids talking to their parents before, and the people that were there for them, and in between fights, we had a chance to talk to some of the families that were there, and just kind of just socialize with people, and so it's the whole environment of the fight. It wasn't necessarily what was just happening inside of the ring, but it was everything around it, like the whole environment. I mean, you saw families, wearing, representing the gyms that they were coming from, representing the fighter that they were there in support of, the musical choice, going in. I was like, man, I was actually going to suggest that you start selling the soundtracks to these fights, because I would buy that one.
Right.
Every one of those songs, I was like, man, I want to get in there too.
And, a lot of fights organizations have like a playlist on
So that was a surprise, because it's like they say it, even football or any other sport is, they talk about how when you're there live, it's a different environment than whenever you're watching it on TV. And so I've only been able to watch it on TV, those types of things, or seen local fights, so I've never been to a UFC event or anything like that, but whenever I was there ringside, you get a feel of what it's all about. And I was